There are those who believe that we choose our parents, that we come into this world with exactly the mother and exactly the father that our soul needs to learn our lessons here and to evolve into the individual we are meant to become. So can I be honest and say that from the start I feared I may have made a mistake in my choosing of Dorothy as the great mother? She would reinforce this in me by exclaiming, "You were older than me when you were born, Wendy." Mom must have said it 100 times to me over the years, and when people asked, it's how I described my relationship with her. Perhaps I resented it a little because I desired to be the child, her child. Perhaps I felt proud when she said it because it meant that I was a big girl, wise beyond my years, her years. Regardless of my early philosophical musings and wonderings about who was really the mother, life happened, and along the way, I grew up. The memories have been cascading through my mind since Mom left this earth. She kept us clean and changed, sometimes several times a day, as busy farm children don't stay clean for long. Our early morning weekly adventures to the West Side bowling lanes while the other kids were in school, where she would bowl with Maggie and the friends and I would hang out in the daycare. Our conversations about when I was grown up, how I would have a big farm or ranch and have lots of horses and she would watch my kids while I rode. Family outings to the Westport and other beaches with the Riedmans, Orchitts, and sundry others. Going to the drive-in movies in our pajamas and being the last ones to leave when the security guard would knock on the window because we had all fallen asleep. She led the cooking and sewing 4-H group and supervised while I made my very first batch of chocolate chip cookies. And the smile of victory on her face when she would once again get carded for ID at the local liquor store. It always made her day. Mom was not a helicopter parent. We 4 wild and woolly children ran free. We came and went at will and would spend hours out in the woods and fields playing army, cowboys and Indians, or running through the irrigation sprinklers. I marvel at Mom's ability to raise 4 closely spaced children when she was practically a child herself. The deepest part of me understood that sometimes it was a lot for her to handle, and so I kept a close eye on the workings of the house and the other kids, especially Angie. I worried about Mom. I would get up sometimes in the night and creep down the hallway just to see if she and Dad were still there, still alive. They never knew. Without consciously knowing it, Mom gave me freedom. I was too strong-willed many times for her to deal with, and she knew it. We both knew it. So I came and went as I pleased, and wandered the countryside on the back of my horse, with very few constraints or structure. Over the years, there were periods where I was very much out of touch with Mom. In many ways, I felt that we were so different. Our relationship felt so backwards at times, and I struggled with the meaning of it all. But Mom never once told me that I needed to be any different than I already was. She never pointed a finger at me and said, "You're too independent," or "You should do this," or "You should do that." She never instructed me to be anything or anyone different than I already was becoming. Mom loved me unconditionally. We were her life. Looking back, I know that. She grew up along with us, her 4 beloved children. In some ways, she was one of us, and as the years passed, we all looked after her in the ways that suited us individually. The beauty of hindsight and a little age on my brow is that I get to see how the tapestry of Mom's life and mine makes sense. I am my mother. I can finally say that. I carry her love for God, the metaphysical mysteries of the world, her whimsical way, and finally her willingness to live in the moment and for the moment. She was indeed the perfect choice for me as a mother. And now, since her death, I have a deep inner certainty that she is beside me, more powerful than she ever was able to be here on earth. She is at last my spiritual mother from her place of infinite knowledge. I have felt her pure presence, laughing, dancing, and flying free. I have heard her whisper to me. She was the earthly mother that I needed up to this point, and she has now become the heavenly mother that I have always wanted and needed.
Since we're on our way down, we might as well enjoy the ride.
As a young youngest of her 4 children, Mom was implicitly clear through the years that I was very unexpected. There were stories of tall bridges and large leaps upon her hearing of the news that she was pregnant again. My very first memories of Mom were all wrapped up in being obsessed with her beauty. I can remember feeling so sorry for those other kids who would talk about their moms and how beautiful they were, because I knew that my mom was the most beautiful woman in the world. And of course now I can see that her beauty was so much deeper than the gorgeous shell she inhabited. Being the youngest, I partook in both the pleasure and the pain of living alone with Mom for many years as the older kids began their own lives. Mom and I laughed a lot. And even though I went through all the junior high feelings of Mom, being totally embarrassed by her, all my friends were always quick to remind me how lucky I was to have such a cool mom. As I think back on Mom's subtle way of teaching and mothering, her technique really seems kind of masterful. I can hear her voice like it was yesterday. When I would whine that Shelley or Wes or Wendy were being mean to me, she would say, "Fight your own battles." And when we would watch a movie together that detailed a sappy love story with a blissfully happy ending, she would say, "The world isn't really like that, Angie. If you want a good relationship, you have to work hard and learn to communicate." When I was 14 years old and a brand new born-again Christian, she dared to move in with her Jewish boyfriend. I pleaded with her not to do it. Surely she and Gary would both go to hell. At the time, her gentle words were like nails on a chalkboard. She said, "Trust me, Angie, someday you will find balance in your life." That many times when I struggled to understand people throughout my life, she would say, "Don't try so hard to understand them, just accept them." How could either of us have known that these simple lessons would become the cornerstones of my life? I am so thankful to all of Mom's friends who have loved and cared for her. Sandy, France, Darius, Snooks, Jackie, Jamie Lee, Gary, Carrie, Harold, Hal and Willie, Doc, Sheila, Suzanne, Joy, Billy, Sharon, Barb, Michael, and so many others. When Mom's less than perfect relationship with her children was on the skids, I know her friends carried her through. Dorothy, you are an amazing woman. I am so proud to be your daughter. Thank you for loving me. I love you.